The majority of people I speak with have no idea how big that decision is to work one additional year. And while my guess is most of you can think of one or two reasons why that might be the case, there's one very important reason that almost everybody overlooks, and it's what I want to highlight in today's video. To do so, we're going to take a look at Kurt and Eva's plan. Kurt and Eva are both age 67, and they both want to retire now, but they're wondering, should they work one more year? So if we take a look at their plan, if we look at their profile, they have some money in the bank. They have about $1.2 million in investments between 401ks, IRAs, joint accounts, etc. And they have a fully paid for home worth about $870,000. Their goal, as I mentioned, is to retire now. They want to retire at 67. They're not in the best of health. They want to be able to start traveling. They want to be able to start doing things now while they have their energy, while they have their health, while they have this time. But they're wondering, should we work one more year? We know that it can be impactful to save more, to delay Social Security, to do all those things. So we're going to illustrate the impact of some of that. So they're 67 right now, and they want to spend $8,000 per month. Of that, $6,000 is really their core monthly expenses. Utilities, food, entertainment, property taxes, so on and so forth. The remaining $2,000 per month, or $24,000 per year, that's more of their travel budget. So keep that in mind for something we're going to come back to. On top of that, they have healthcare. Their healthcare costs, so in addition to Medicare Part B and Part D, which we're going to factor in automatically, we're budgeting for an additional $4,500 per year of out-of-pocket expenses for both of them. So these are their goals. We're not adding anything additional into travel right now. Keep in mind that some of this already is travel. In their income that they have, if they kept working, they would have healthy income. They'd have another year of $200,000+ of income, another year of more savings, Social Security, etc. But we're going to assume to start that they retire right now, and then we're going to compare that to working one more year, and we're going to highlight some very important differences there that I want you to stay tuned to understand, because some of them I don't think are going to be what you're thinking. Once they retire and once they collect Social Security, here's their full retirement age amount. So Kurt's benefit is $2,840 per month. Eva's benefit, $2,910 per month. So we know what their net worth is, we know what their goals are, which is retire today, but should we work one additional year? And we're going to help them understand the impact of that. And we know what the Social Security benefit would be. If we jump right into their plan to see what does this look like, can they make this happen, here's what we're going to see. We're going to see year by year what their income sources are, what their expenses are, and what their portfolio needs to do for them. So let me break this down. Income flows. This is the income that they can expect, the non-portfolio income. So salary's gone. Remember, we're starting with the assumption that they're retiring right now and seeing, can this work? And we're going to compare that to what if they work one extra year. So here's Kurt's benefit, here is Eva's benefit, here's our total Social Security, and you can see a little bit of a cost of living adjustment there. When we go back to this, we can compare that to their expenses. So expenses, living expenses, this is $8,000 per month, but inflation is going to happen. So we're going to increase that by 3% per year going forward. And then here's healthcare. So we can see healthcare for Kurt, healthcare for Eva. If we drill down into this, you can see what we're projecting for their Part B premium, for their Part D premium, and then their out-of-pocket costs. When we go back to this, what we can start to see is we can add in an estimated tax payment. Now their tax payment is zero for the next few years. The reason for that is they're going to take advantage of tax gain harvesting, which means sell enough money in their brokerage account to not have to pay taxes on the capital gains, and Social Security, which isn't fully taxable. So through some good tax planning, they're able to stay in a 0% tax bracket, and then they're going to start paying taxes here. This is when their IRA distributions start. They start pulling money from their IRA, which is taxable. But bottom line, total outflows is a combination of their expenses here plus tax payment. So in this column, what we're seeing is, what does this look like? Their total expenses, and how does that compare to total inflows? Net flows is the difference between the two. This is how much Kurt and Eva need to take from their portfolio in order to supplement Social Security so they can have this amount in outflows so they can pay for healthcare and have enough left over adjusted for inflation to maintain their lifestyle. Now, when we get that, what that allows us to do is it allows us to compare how much do they need from their portfolio to their total portfolio value. And what we can do is we can project out a growth rate on their portfolio. We're going to start with an assumed growth rate of 6.5%. Not a guarantee. It's simply saying, if you can get this, what do these projections look like? And we're going to take this amount out of their portfolio value each year to see how long will that last. So that's what we're going to go to this page to do. What we're going to see is their portfolio, here it is today, and it's projected to last all the way until age 90. Now, by the way, if you're looking at this, I get a lot of emails, a lot of questions saying, how do I get access to the software? You can get access via our Retirement Planning Academy. Link is below. Take a look at that if you want access, and you can follow along and run your own projections while we do that. But here's our plan. And what we can see is Kurt and Eva are in a good spot. What we want to really understand, though, is what's the impact of different sequence of returns? What's the impact of different market environments? And that's where we go to what's called a probability of success. Probability of success, saying what's the probability of this happening, knowing that we can't guarantee a 6.5% growth rate every year. And even if we got it, there's going to be a range of different returns. Some years higher, some years lower. And what's the impact on getting a different sequence of returns on our overall portfolio throughout retirement? So here's where they are. Now, they looked at this, of course, their mind says the 83% is good, but we'd probably feel a little bit more secure if it was higher. James, what would this look like if we were to work one extra year? So we were able to look at this. What happens if we say you don't retire at 67, but let's move this to 68? One more year of work. Now, it's not just one more year of work, it's one more year of saving 10% to each of their 401ks. What it also does is it also impacts Social Security. So currently they're collecting their full retirement age, so just before age 67. But if we change this and we said they're going to work one more year, that means they both get to take advantage of delayed retirement credits. 1 year of delayed retirement credits, which is an increase of 8% in their Social Security benefit. So 1 year means one more year of contributions to their 401ks, one more year of their portfolio growing before they start drawing it down, plus one more year of their Social Security benefits increasing. What's the impact of all that? Well, if today they're at an 83% probability of success, we refresh this, 12 more months of work, one more year of work, increases things by 10%. So in their mind, they're looking at this and saying, I feel way more comfortable with this. I worked 45 years to get to an 83% probability of success. It makes a lot of sense to work one more year to get that additional 10, to increase the security, to increase the probability of success of a successful outcome in retirement. And we said that's very fair. That's a very fair point. Every year you work is going to increase your Social Security. It's going to increase your portfolio, assuming the market continues to go up. It's going to increase how much you put into your portfolio. There are tremendous financial benefits. But let me also share one other perspective here. Kurt and Eva, you're not in the best of health, you shared with me. You shared that your health has deteriorated, largely due to stress at work and the fact that work prevents you from being able to do the things that you want to do to prioritize your health. You shared with me you want to travel. Now, travel is wonderful, but how much of that are you going to be able to do if we don't get your health in order? You've also shared with me that both of you have friends, both of you have coworkers who passed away right before they were expected to retire. So let's look at this. And just because we're projecting retirement until age 90, just because we're projecting a travel budget, doesn't mean we're guaranteed the right to get that. So yes, let's focus on the financial side, but this is the one thing that people overlook. They very clearly see the financial benefits, but they overlook the personal negative impact. What's the impact on health? What's the impact on your lifestyle? What's the impact on your time together? We're not guaranteed a 25, 30-year retirement. Or even if we get it, our spouse might not also get it. So how do we prudently plan for the financial side of things to support our lifestyle, but how do we also recognize that nothing is guaranteed? And if we're not prioritizing health and relationship and what we want to do, we might never get the chance to do that. So we had that conversation, and Kurt and Eva looked at each other and said, you know what, that's exactly right. We do not want to let this time pass us by. Our health isn't in the best place. We do have some really fun travel goals that we want to have. So we do think that we want to retire, but James, is there something we can do to make this look better, to give us the optimal chances of success? And so he said, absolutely. I said, Kurt and Eva, let me show you one more thing. If we're really concerned about increasing probability of success, what if we did this? What if we said, don't work just one more year, work 13 more years? And what if you didn't wait until 68 to collect Social Security? If you're going to work until 80, we can collect Social Security at 70 when it's fully maximized. What would that look like? Well, what that would do is it would increase your probability of success from 83% to 100. It would add $4.5+ million to your portfolio value at the end of your retirement. Now, this is an absurdly extreme example, but I did this to make a point. I said, yes, the financial benefits cannot be ignored. In fact, if all we're looking at is the financial benefits, don't stop working. Don't stop saving. Don't collect Social Security a day before 70. Keep doing all of that and keep saying no to travel and health and time together. But what have we missed here? What have we missed if we continue to push this out forever? Well, we've missed what actually matters. We've missed that time together. We've missed out prioritizing health, all those other things. So yes, there's a spectrum, and finances needs to be on one side of it, but so too does prioritizing the things that actually matter. Now, as we're going through this, make sure that you subscribe, because every single week we walk through case studies where we're going to highlight financial aspects of things, but tie that into what really matters of how do we get the most out of life with our money. So make sure you subscribe. And as I said, if you want access to this software, you can access it in the Retirement Planning Academy. Link is in the description below. Let's go back to the plan though. Let's not do this. We had a good conversation. Kurt and Eva are saying, you know what, James, this is absolutely right. We need to prioritize what's most important. And is there anything that we can do to say let's retire today, but build in a solid plan, as solid of a plan as possible to maximize the probability of success? So if we go back to this, we can look at, here's their original plan that we looked at. Retire now. Don't work any longer, don't save anymore, don't increase Social Security. But I said this, Kurt and Eva, $8,000 per month is what you want to spend, but of this, $6,000 per month is really your core basic expenses. So what if we add this in, this extra $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year? So it's still at $8,000 per month, but just for the next 10 years, so from 67 to 77, and then you're probably not traveling as much from there on out. So they're going to travel for 10 more years, $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year, which really means those first 10 years are still spending the $8,000 per month that we started with. But then they're backing off from there because they're just not going to have the energy or the desire to travel as much in their late 70s and 80s as they did when they first retired. So if we make that change and we refresh this, here's what that looks like for them. That probability of success skyrockets. That probability of success goes way up, not because they're working longer, but because we're more accurately outlining what's actually going to happen for them in retirement. So that was very reassuring to them. But they said, James, what if we don't actually stop spending that extra $24,000 per year? Maybe it's travel for the first 10 years, but then that becomes higher medical expenses, or that becomes other costs later on in retirement. What if that happens? In other words, what if we did have $8,000 per month forever? So let's look at that. What if you keep spending $8,000 per month and that never drops off, even after your travel ends 10 years from now? Well, if that's the case, keep in mind that the probability of success we're looking at is just looking at your current portfolio assets. If you had to, what if you ended up selling your home? Again, this isn't the primary strategy, but what if something came up where you ran out of assets, you needed to sell your home? You can see here, your probability of success jumps right back up again. Now we're factoring in what if you had to then rent all those things, but what this is looking at is we're saying there's other financial things that can be done to support this retirement, whether it's discontinuing travel in the budget after a number of years, whether it's selling a property. Maybe it's just simply spending a little less as you start to get older. There's all these different things. And so the point that I wanted to make to Kurt and Eva is there's a spectrum. There's a financial side of things and there's a personal side of things. Focus too much on the financial, you miss out on the personal. You miss out on what you're actually doing it all for. Focus too much on the personal, and you're not financially prepared to actually support your goals, and life ends up passing you by in that case too. So the delicate balance here is how do we prioritize what matters? How do we understand the financial impact of one extra year of work? But how do we also understand the financial detriment that could potentially have on the personal side of things? So you have to see both sides, because I see far too many people who say, you know what, it's just going to be one more year and then I'm going to prioritize what matters. And then that year comes and goes and it becomes another year. And another year, and another year. And before you know it, you look back and say, I missed out on all those years that I could have been doing wonderful things with my spouse, with my family, with my friends, whatever the case might be. So as you're looking at this here, the point is to understand that there are financial implications for the decisions you make. There are also personal implications. How can you devise a strategy that incorporates both of those? Now, if you're watching this and this resonates and you're saying, you know what, I focus far too much on the financial side, take a look at this video here. I made this video that highlights the 5 reasons it might be time for you to retire right now. And if one of those reasons connects, then this might finally be the year that you make the decision to call it quits at work and pursue what actually matters. Root Financial has not provided any compensation for and has not influenced the content of any testimonials and endorsements shown. Any testimonials and endorsements shown have been invited, have been shared with each individual's permission, and are not necessarily representative of the experience of other clients. To our knowledge, no other conflicts of interest exist regarding these testimonials and endorsements. Once again, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and if you're interested in seeing how we help our clients at Root Financial get the most out of life with their money, be sure to visit us at www.rootfinancialpartners.com.